Open the file. The myth is that you just set a goal and want it badly enough, and the behavior follows. The truth is that goals barely move behavior on their own, and the most tested fix is a single pre-decided sentence called if-then planning. Today, we open the file on if-then planning, also known as implementation intentions, and the meta-analysis that put real numbers behind it.
Set a goal, want it, commit, decide to change and mean it this time. If I want it badly enough, I will follow through.
That sounds like wisdom, and it does almost nothing. You write exercise more on a list. You promise yourself you will read every day. You set the intention with real feeling, and then Wednesday arrives, the moment comes and goes, and you never quite did the thing. Not because you did not want it, because wanting it was never the part that was missing. This is the quiet failure at the center of goal-setting culture. We treat motivation like the whole engine, when most of the time motivation is already there. What is missing is the bridge between the goal in your head and the action in the moment. The goal was never the problem. The plan was. And for decades, the research has been pointing at one specific kind of plan that builds that bridge better than almost anything else in behavior science.
Source file Gollwitzer and Sheeran, 2006, Implementation Intentions and Goal Achievement in Advances in Experimental Social Psychology. The meta-analysis pooled 94 independent tests and more than 8,000 participants. The average effect size was D equals 0.65. A later meta-analysis by Sheeran, Listrom, and Gollwitzer mapped 642 tests and still found implementation intentions effective across cognitive, affective, and behavioral outcomes.
What were all those studies testing? A simple idea Gollwitzer named the implementation intention, a plan in a fixed shape. If situation X happens, then I will do Y, that is it. You name the exact cue ahead of time, you name the exact response, and you link them in advance. If it is 7 a.m. and I am in the kitchen, then I will take my vitamins. Compare that to a plain goal intention. I want to take my vitamins more. Same goal. The difference is that the if-then plan predecides the when, the where, and the what, so the moment itself can trigger the action. So across all those studies, did adding the if-then format actually move behavior compared to just having the goal? The pooled answer was yes. The average effect size was D equals 0.65. In plain terms, that is a medium to large effect. Effect size D is just a standard way to measure how big a difference is, so studies of different things can be compared on one scale. Around 0.2 is small, 0.5 is medium, 0.8 is large. 0.65 sits comfortably in the useful middle.
Evidence limit D equals 0.65 is an average, not a guarantee. It does not mean the plan works equally well for every person or every behavior. The cue has to actually show up, and the action has to be doable.
That limit matters. Some studies in that pool found big effects, some found smaller ones, and a written sentence is not magic. The if-then plan still depends on a behavior that is actually doable and a cue that actually appears in your real day. The evidence is strongest for forming and following through on new actions, not for muscling down deep automatic bad habits. So treat this as a strongly supported tool, not a magic spell. Why would one sentence do that much? Gollwitzer's account is that the if-then plan hands control of the behavior over to the cue. Once you have specified if X, then Y, your mind gets primed to notice X, and when X shows up, Y tends to follow more automatically, with less deliberation, less debating, and less waiting to feel ready. You stop running on willpower and start running on context. The if-then sentence is just the cleanest way to write that handoff down. I put the one-page version of this, plus the behavior selector and the if-then builder, into a free PDF called the Habit Lab Starter Kit. The link is in the description. Here is the protocol. 2 sentences. First, write your main if-then. Name an exact cue and an exact action. If it is this time and I am in this place, then I will do this behavior. Use a stable cue you already pass every day and a behavior small enough to do on a bad day. Second, and this is the part people skip, write a coping if, then for the obstacle. Name the single thing most likely to derail you and pre-decide the recovery. If I miss the morning slot, then I do it right after lunch. That second sentence is what keeps one missed day from becoming a collapsed habit.
So the sentence has to be specific enough that someone else would know exactly when and what to do.
Exactly. Pass the specificity test. Read both plans out loud. If either one contains when I have time, later, or more, it fails. Rewrite it until it names a real moment you could point to on a clock and a map. The cleanest check is to read your plan to someone else. If they would know exactly when and what to do, it passes. If they would have to ask when, it fails. That is the whole move. Make the decision now once in writing so the moment does not have to. When the if shows up, you do the then. No renegotiating because that decision was already made. So here is the takeaway. Goals are not the lever. The plan is. The single most tested upgrade you can make is to turn your intention into an if-then sentence. Add a second if, then for the obstacle, and then run the sentence instead of your willpower. Medium to large effect, 94 tests, 8,000 people on average, not as a promise. If you want the done-for-you version, grab the free Habit Lab starter kit linked below. It has the if-then builder and the behavior selector ready to fill in. And if you want all 12 weeks of this, the book is the 12-week Habit Lab on Amazon. Open the file. Write the sentence. Watch whether the trigger fires.